Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dot to Dot. Today, I'm going to talk about the season 10, episode 1, the tunnel discovery that they made with the sonar from one of the boreholes at the Money Pit area. So, I'm going to go to Google Earth and give you my analysis. So, here I have the sonar overlaid onto Google Earth, and it is basically positioned from the point AB13, which was approximately 6 to 8 feet away from the left-hand part of the stones of the Women's Monument. So this is how I find M16.25, which is the borehole they dropped the sonar in. And this point is basically showing this tunnel underneath the earth. And these are the beams. Supposedly these are the beams, and it's running in this direction, and it runs out here, and it gets a little narrow. So they're pretty much concluding that this is either caved in, or maybe this is where it stops. We don't know. And that this part is caved in. And I agree with that assessment. But the funny thing about this is the way these tunnels are angled basically can give us a clue of where they were thinking that the money pit was. But this is a yellow line of the tunnel system that belongs to the Oak Island Association, which was basically the local people. Jotham McCulley was the head of it, basically from 1861 to 1866. And this is 30 years or 27 years prior to the chapel shaft and the head shaft, where basically the historical money pit is based upon. So this is the historical money pit that's shown on many charts from Dunfield to the different surveys that have been taken. This is basically the historical money pit. And it's all based on data that was from 1893, 27 years after the Oak Island Association. So how do I base this? Well, here's supposedly shaft 11. And it says, on the theory that shaft 9, pumping shaft, wasn't deep enough at 107 feet to efficiently drain the money pit, the workers selected a spot 100 feet southeast of the money pit where they dug shaft 11, 120 feet deep. So this is how I base this right here, because this is going to the southeast. And the only historical record we have, really, of any tunnel going to the southeast is the one coming from shaft 11. Now, shaft 11, this was pretty much the last attempt of the Oak Island Association in 1863. I believe they dug it in 1863. Sometime in 1864. So, yeah, I'm going to leave this up. So you guys can read it. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can pause and read it. But one of the other interesting things about this is the depth where they cribbed the money pit area. So they came with this tunnel from the southeast, and they hit the money pit area, and they cribbed the money pit from 103 feet to 108 feet. This is the exact depth in which this sonar connected to the tunnel. It stopped at 103 feet and went down and dropped down to 108 feet. It was 5 feet high. So this really matches the parameters that were set forth through this sonar study, and it coincides to me to be this tunnel from shaft 11. So this is most likely a searcher tunnel, but we're going to find out that if we analyze some other data that was done by the Oak Island team, especially this one. Now this is Google Earth from 8/21. So this was basically about the time that they were drilling for the flood tunnel out here. And this is borehole FTS2, which stands for flood tunnel. And you can see the water still sort of coming out from where they drilled this hole. So I'm finding this probably to be pretty accurate of where this is. So if the flood tunnel is going directly, let's assume in a straight line to the money pit, we can see the trajectories of the flood tunnel. If it was going to the historical flood tunnel, it would take this path. And if it was going to perhaps this area, which may be the money pit, it would go to here. Now, another interesting thing is shaft 7. Now, this was the first shaft that they sunk in 1861. And it says 10 years would pass after the Truro Company. So the Truro Company was in basically 1850, 1851 would be the last day that the Truro Company was excavating there. And it said that they dug shaft 7. Now it says to a depth, but this is an error. It's actually 25 feet east of the money pit, and with the intention of intercepting the water tunnel, but it was abandoned at 120 feet after it missed the tunnel. So we know that shaft 7, was dug to 120 feet and did not encounter any kind of water. So it missed the flood tunnel system. Now, if we look at the sonar overlay, we see right here, this is shaft 7. And if we take a trajectory from the FTS2 to the historical money pit, it runs right through shaft 7. So this placement really here of shaft 7, which was done in 1861, it was the first shaft by the Oak Island Association was sunk. If it was with this data where the historical money pit would be here, they would have encountered the flood tunnel. So now you can probably question the flood tunnel, the path, and I'm only going by this mark right here, FTS2. So if FTS2 came from here down to here, you can see from 25 feet west or east of the money pit, shaft 7 would be right here. And being maybe 6 feet in diameter, let's get on circle here. 6 feet in diameter, it would be about right there. So, depending on how big the flood tunnel was, they say it was about 4 feet wide, it would miss it. So we can save that here and go do it again. So there's 6 feet. So it would miss the flood tunnel. So this is one of the reasons why I think that this may be the proper trajectory of the flood tunnel, and that all the attempts over here, we had a bunch of holes that hit wood and everything like that. I don't know how far these tunnels went, or if these tunnels were associated with perhaps the 1909 uh, the Oak Island Gold Company with, I think it was Roosevelt who was part of that company. And they did find a boot that was from that era. So this might have, all this activity up here where they found wooden shafts and everything at 95 feet could have been from that era. However, it was the tunnel. Okay, this tunnel struck the money pit at a depth of 108 feet. So that coincides with this, just above the water level. And then it talks about they cribbed the money pit between 103 and 108 feet. And then it says, then they dug a circular tunnel around the outside of the pit at about 95 feet, intersecting a couple of earlier searcher shafts in the process. It appears that one or two of the lateral tunnels were dug, but their direction and depth were unrecorded. This labor continued sporadically into the following years, but it was generally found impossible to do any work below 110 feet in the immediate area without being flooded and the treasure that they believe was below that. So somewhere, if this is correct, or if it's up here, we don't know, because a lot of these were found at around 90 feet. But those tunnels that were dug around wherever the money pit is at 95 feet. Another interesting thing about this analogy is that it is in straight line with AB 13. And AB 13 and AB 13.5, they found a cavity underneath there with water that was surging out, as if it was surging out from ocean tide, or as Marty also said, that he thought it was from the air that they were pushing in there from the drilling operation. So that's what I have. It's interesting. Here we're not, they've already done all this and we don't know what's happening. We'll have to watch on the show to see if they had, come into contact with the money pit area and what they find. But as far as I can see, this conforms very much to the Oak Island Association attempt, their last attempt in 1866 to reach the money pit. So that's what I have for today. I appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe if you liked it and you want to watch other videos that will be coming up soon. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.